How do you know if you're living your life, or if you're living the one you were told you'd want? You know, life keeps opening up in front of us through upbringing, culture, expectation, the circumstances we're simply born into. Sometimes we get to shape what opens up in front of us. Other times it simply arrives, uninvited, unchosen. But something arriving isn't the same as consciously choosing to meet it. I can think of quite a few moments in my life, inflection points, where I move forward without truly choosing to. Maybe because it was socially approved, or because it looked like the obvious next step in my journey. Take me at 16, for example. It's like 10 years ago now. I needed to decide what I was going to do once I'd finished school. I remember searching online. I sat in my grandparents' house one Sunday afternoon, and I literally typed in on the internet, what are the highest paid degrees? Chemical engineering came up. Today I hold a master's in chemical engineering, but what's even funnier is that I'm not even a chemical engineer. And I kind of always knew that that's what I didn't want to be as well. That decision I made 10 years ago was never built on who I truly am. The more awakened, the more spiritual version of myself I'm only now becoming. When we aren't centered, when we aren't conscious, and we make decisions, those decisions can become intercepted by unconscious, maybe subconscious elements of our existence. That would include things like conditioning, fear, anxiety, insecurities, the need for approval from friends, family, maybe even in the case of my 16-year-old self, teachers, whoever it might be. But I think that's exactly why it's so easy to drift through life on autopilot. A lot of the decisions I've made in my life, I'm not sure how many of them have been fully unconscious, but definitely most of them haven't been fully conscious either. I've lived somewhere in between those two states. And when we're not truly present, our thoughts and feelings, our emotions, our inner energies, they can start to drive us, to pilot us, instead of us, our conscious selves. Anxiety, insecurities, these negative energies, they can pull us with a lot of force in a certain direction. And sometimes we can forget that there was ever a choice to even make for ourselves. We forget to act from like the truest, most grounded part of who we are. Everyone has moments in their life where they have to make big decisions, whether it's starting a new job, maybe quitting your job, starting a new relationship, leaving a relationship, whatever it might be. But before we actually take that leap of faith, we should pause. Have we actually decided consciously that we want to walk through the door that has been opened in front of us? Or is there something else pulling us into it? I want to be clear, an unconsciously chosen path isn't automatically a bad one. Take my university example. I genuinely loved university. Some of my closest friends that I have are from that time, and I don't regret it for a second. But that's exactly what makes it so easy to live life on autopilot sometimes. This video, monologue, speech, whatever this is supposed to be, it wasn't supposed to be about happy versus unhappy, good versus bad. It's a much quieter, much deeper thing than that. My question to you is, does your current life actually resonate with who you truly are? Or have you just become remarkably good at living inside of someone else's answer? You can furnish a house beautifully. That doesn't mean you chose the land where it was built on. Wise words there. If we're honest, if we really sit with our decisions, our choices, and if we find that they don't fully resonate with who we are or what we stand for, where do we go from there? I think it starts with coming back to who you truly are. You are not your thoughts. You are not your feelings or your emotions. You are not your achievements. You are not your failures. You are not the accumulation of all the events that have happened in your life to date. That's not who you are. You're underneath all of that. You're pure awareness. Your consciousness itself. We all have an intuitive sense that we exist beneath everything we collect along the way. This is the one thing that remains the same. And if you can return to that, you can manage to be centered enough to be someone who's deeply conscious. That's when you can start to live with real intention. That's when what you say, what you do, aligns with your true values, your own ethos. The path that you actually want to walk starts to reveal itself before you. And instead of being steered by the noise, you start to cut straight through it. I guess if all of this talk around being centered and being conscious, the spiritual talk, in a sense, isn't resonating with you, that's cool. Let me point you to a book. Read it. It's called The Untethered Soul by Michael A. Singer. That book, alongside daily meditation, that's where everything started to change for me. Learning to stay aware and to make my decisions with real intention instead of being on autopilot all the time. It's life-changing, really. I like to use meditation as a dedicated space where I learn to stay centered and conscious, which then allows me to then apply it in my waking hours and in ordinary life. It enables us to make sure that the small decisions we make every day are made with intention, and then ultimately the big ones too. So I think that's everything I wanted to say in this video. I hope you resonated or connected with at least something that I spoke about here. And I'm going to continue to do this as I go on this journey of awakening to becoming someone who's more conscious and makes more intentional decisions. I'm choosing to become a conscious builder of my own life.